And let me tell you, those opinions are all BS. They're all BS. Nobody knows what products will sell and what products will not sell, what's a good idea and what's a stupid idea, until they actually go out there and try to take it to market and get that feedback from the market. I don't care.
This is the How to Quit Working Show. Jeff Steinman believes entrepreneurship is the only true path to freedom. That's why he created the How to Quit Working Show, where you'll hear stories, insights, and inspiration from lifestyle fanatics who left their soul-sucking 9-to-5 job forever. Now, here's your host, author, entrepreneur, and ultimate lifestyle fanatic, Jeff Steinman.
Hello and welcome to the How to Quit Working Show, where we're going to be talking about a really important topic today, and that topic is how to know if your idea, your business idea, is stupid or not. And this is a really important topic because everybody has a great business idea and they're always wondering, is this really going to work or is it not going to work? And today we're going to talk about exactly how to figure out if your business idea is stupid or if it's a great idea. Before we jump into that really fun content, which we're going to have a lot of fun with today, I first want to remind you of the How to Quit Working Circle. Now, if you go over to howtoquitworking.com/circle and enter your information, you will be able to get access to free video training series as well as invitations to regular live training events. And the best part is that you get to join our How to Quit Working Circle community, which is on Facebook, and you'll get all of the information about that if you just go over to howtoquitworking.com/circle and enter your information and join us in the How to Quit Working Circle. I can't wait to see you over there, and I also cannot wait to talk about how to figure out if your business idea is stupid or not. Now, this is a topic that I really love talking about, and we go into a lot of detail in the Kickstart program, but I want to kind of give you some of the high strokes of it today, or some of the general concepts that you want to be thinking about. And I want to start off with a story. And the story is about something that happened to me last week. I had a really busy day. I think it was a day that I was shooting one of these videos, and I had a couple other things going on, and I was kind of running from one thing to the other, and it got to be like 1 or 2 o'clock, and I suddenly realized, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten anything yet today. And I was thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do? I mean, make a sandwich, or should I go grab something, or should I order a pizza? What should I do? And as I got to thinking about all this, I was thinking, gosh, I really don't want to think about what I'm eating. I don't want to put a lot of effort into what I'm eating. I wish that there was just something I could just eat. And it wouldn't necessarily have to taste good. It wouldn't have to taste bad, hopefully, but it would give me all of the nutrition that I needed to have a meal and just be done with it. And as I was thinking about it, I got to thinking about another thing that I had done earlier that day, which is to feed the dogs. And when you feed the dogs, it's great because all you do is you open the bag of dog food and you put your scoop in there and you fill the bowl up with the dog food, and that is what the dog eats. That's what the dogs ate yesterday, that's what the dogs ate today, and that's what the dogs are going to eat tomorrow. Every single day. There's never any thinking about, what am I going to feed the dogs today? I got to thinking, I said, you know what? Wouldn't it be great if there was something that I could eat that would just be that simple, and that could just be my lunch? And I didn't have to be an enjoyable meal. It doesn't have to be something I do every single meal. But what if I just had something that I could just have at hand and just grab a bowl of it or a piece of it or whatever it is and have that whenever I don't want to think about what I'm eating because I'm just don't want to worry about it. Well, it seems to me like we could just, instead of having a big bag of dog food, we could just have a big bag of people food. It would just be called people food. It would taste a lot better than dog food. It would contain all the nutrients that you need for a meal. And if you're in a hurry, you just grab a scoop of it in a bowl, or maybe it's in bar form and you just break a piece of the bar off, or you grab a bar, whatever it is, a meal in a whole self-contained meal that you don't have to think about. Well, So I thought, isn't this a neat idea? Now, this is not something that I had any intention of going out and trying to invent or market or do anything with, but it was just something that was kind of fun to think about. And I thought it would be funny to post this on Facebook. So I posted it on my personal Facebook wall. I said something like, wouldn't it be nice if there was people food and, just like there's dog food so you can just grab it and go. And what was really interesting about that, and again, I wasn't pursuing this as a legitimate, serious business idea. I'm not doing this. I'm not inventing this product. It's just a silly thought that came into my head. But what was really interesting about it is when I posted it on Facebook, people were really confused about what I actually meant. And there's a lesson there, and that's why I wanted to talk about this. So I posted something out there. Wouldn't it be great if there was this thing called people food and you could just scoop it out like dog food? Well, then people started saying things like, well, what about popcorn or potato chips or cereal? Isn't that basically the same thing? And other people were throwing things out there like, well, what about granola bars or a protein shake or this or that? And what was so interesting about that was not only is that probably a really stupid business idea, but as I explained it, people didn't get it. And again, I didn't try to clarify because it was all really just for fun and to have fun with. But it's such an important lesson about identifying and developing a product or a service, doesn't matter, same thing, is people have to be able to understand it. And if that were something that I were really doing and I was really going to be focused on that and really creating that thing, I would really need to step back and first of all, learn how to explain it better, because however I explained it, folks really didn't understand what I meant. Most people just thought it was goofy and silly, which it ultimately was. But if you're really trying to explain the business concept, you've got to get to a point where you really know how to explain it. And the best way to get better at explaining it to people and explain the benefits, why would you want to do this? For example, the people were saying, when I posted this on Facebook, they're saying, well, why don't you just eat a bowl of cereal? Well, I would need to communicate the benefit of this product better, which would be that it would be more nutritious than cereal. I mean, there's absolutely no nutritional value in cereal, and for some reason we feed it to our kids every single day. Makes no sense to me. But the idea of giving kids a piece of cake for breakfast is ridiculous. I don't see the difference between cake and cereal, but anyway, that's a tangent. But the point is, when we have this product, my vision for this product would be that it would be something that was actually nutritious, something that would actually give you a nutritious meal. It wouldn't be full of sugar, it wouldn't be full of preservatives or a bunch of things that are not good for you, not a lot of sodium and so forth. But I didn't communicate that well enough, right? So if this was a real business idea, I would need to communicate that better. And that would be something that I learned from that initial interaction. I would have learned that it is important to communicate better and more clearly the nutritional value, because people didn't see that in the way I initially communicated it. So my point here is that when you go to begin to explain a business idea to someone, you have to listen to what you're hearing back. And the worst thing that you can do, the absolute worst thing that you can do, is say to yourself, well, those people are stupid because they don't understand. Or those people just don't have the knowledge, or they don't have the brains, or they don't have the perspective, or whatever it is. You can't push that blame back on those people. You have to take it in for yourself and figure out, how do you figure out a better way to communicate it. And this is a really key thing that is so critical as you build your business, is always taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens all the time. These people didn't understand. That means I didn't explain it well enough. It doesn't mean they're stupid. I mean, they may be. They may be. But that's not important. The important thing is that you have to look at, I have to learn and I have to figure out how to explain this better next time. So my first kind of point there on this whole people food example that I've been using is you have to go out, and when you're talking about things, you have to see and figure out if people really understand what you mean, especially when it's a kind of an off-the-wall thing like that. And this is such a great example to use because it's just a silly example, and it's something that I don't know that anybody will ever invent. If you want to take this idea and go invent it and make millions of dollars off of it, I welcome you to do that, and you don't have to pay me a penny in royalties at all, but go right ahead. But anyway, so the first point is you have to be open to understanding how folks are going to react to that idea that you're putting out there. And you have to always take that responsibility of figuring out ways to explain it where people actually get it and people really understand what it is that you're talking about. So that is kind of the first step in identifying if your business idea is stupid or not, is figuring out how to explain it in a way that people understand it. Now, just because people understand it doesn't mean that they'll want it, right? So it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be interested in that thing, right? So even if I was able to completely communicate accurately and effectively what this people food is, doesn't mean that people will be interested in it, right? So people might say, you know what, I don't want that. I enjoy my afternoon meal. I enjoy the variety of having a sandwich one day and having some cereal another day, having a salad another day, having pizza the following day. This conversation is making me hungry for pizza. But the point is that there are going to be people who are going to say, yes, Jeff, I totally understand exactly what you are saying, but I don't want it. I'm not interested. And once you have figured out how to clearly communicate that idea, then you can begin to get feedback from other people. And you always have to get as much feedback as you possibly can. Social media, as we talked about in this example, is a great place to get that feedback. It's a great place to just be able to post something out there and say, hey, what do folks think of this? One thing that I will caution you on with that is you have to be careful about people who are trying to be experts in what the market wants. There are all kinds of people, and if you post something on your Facebook wall, you're going to get 10 responses. Like if you post something on your Facebook wall and it says, is this a good idea for a business, or is this a good product idea? Everybody will have an opinion. Everybody will have an opinion of, oh yes, that's a great idea. No, that's a terrible idea. Everybody will want this. Nobody will want that, whatever. Everybody has that sort of what's called a heuristic opinion, or an opinion based upon their knowledge and their expertise and their things that they've figured out and their perspective of the world. And let me tell you, those opinions are all BS. They're all BS. Nobody knows what products will sell and what products will not sell, what's a good idea and what's a stupid idea, until they actually go out there and try to take it to market and get that feedback from the market. I don't care who we're talking about. The biggest companies that do the biggest product releases do tons and tons and tons of market research, and they hire firms that go out and randomly select people in different areas, and they survey them. They maybe even put it on the shelves in certain stores to see if people are interested, and they test it and they test it and they test it, because nobody knows what will sell and what will not sell. Let me say that again. Nobody knows what will sell and what will not sell until they go out and try to sell it. Is the absolute only way. So my caution to you is, don't fall into that trap of listening to your neighbor or your coworker or your sister or your brother or your significant other that has that divine opinion about whether this is a good idea or a bad idea. If they're giving you that divine advice, they are doing nothing but a disservice to you, because they don't know. Ask them why they think they know so much better than the biggest companies out there in the world that do extensive market research, because they don't know. Now, that was kind of a bit of a tangent off of my main point, which is that, as I was saying, social media is a great place to float ideas out there and get input and feedback from people. However, let's move into the third point, which is getting that feedback from the right people and identifying who would actually want that. Now, your sister-in-law sorry to pick on your sister-in-law, but your sister-in-law on Facebook who is just positive that this is a great idea or just positive it's a terrible idea is not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about who is the actual person who would use this product, who is the actual person who would actually buy this product and utilize this product or service if it's a service. All these concepts apply identically to products and services. You can use those completely interchangeably. So we talked about not wanting to get that kind of divine opinion from people who think they know everything, but what you actually want to get is you want to get the opinion from that person who might actually purchase that thing. Now, if I got better at explaining my people food concept, I might have somebody on there who says, you know what, I am a busy working mom, and in the mornings I am really busy getting the kids ready and getting the kids fed that I don't have time to feed myself. So I would love it if I could just grab a handful of people food and just stick it in my mouth and get all the nutrients that I need for my breakfast meal and not have to worry about what to make myself or anything like that. So then maybe you're onto something, right? Because then you have someone who is saying, not, oh, I think this is a good idea, I think that's a bad idea. What they're actually saying is, oh, look, I'm a specific person and I have a specific need that this product might actually address. I'm actually really interested in it. So how could I get more information about that? And then you're beginning to figure out who are the actual people, who are those actual people, what is that subset of the vast world of humanity that would actually be interested in that. Now, for example, your foodies, your people who are really super into food and they really enjoy tasting different food and trying different varieties of food are not people who are going to be interested in grabbing a handful of people food and shoving it in their mouth on the way out the door or at any other point in time. So when you begin to open that conversation, you begin to identify where there's people that are saying, yeah, this sounds interesting. So if in that example, you identified that there is this working mother who is interested in this product, well, then you begin to expand that out and talk to more working mothers. Maybe working mothers are really into this idea, and maybe they have similarities that would make them as a group more likely to be interested in this people food product. So now what's happening is you're actually beginning to clarify your market. You're beginning to clarify, okay, working women want to grab this, working mothers want to grab this on the way out. So now not only are you beginning to understand who might be interested in that product, you're also beginning to understand how to deliver it. How might they like it to be? In my mind, when I sort of invented this silly people food product, I was thinking of it being something that you would eat out of a bowl, like dog food. But that's really actually, as we begin to talk to these mothers, we realize they don't want to dirty a bowl. They don't want to have to get a spoon. They probably just want a bar. They want a bar they can just tear the wrapper off and start eating it, right? And this is the stuff of gold in developing products, because you're beginning to understand what people want. And you can see how in this example, this people food product has transformed and it's evolved from being something that comes in a bag and you take a handful of it to being something that is in a bar format, because the working mother wants to just grab it and be able to take a bite of it and maybe just hold it in her mouth while she's buckling the kids in a seatbelt and be able to consume her breakfast that way. So this is the exact process that you have to go through in order to understand if your business idea is a great one or if it's a terrible, terrible, stupid business idea. I personally, my gut tells me that people food is a terrible business idea, that it's a stupid business idea, and that nobody would ever want to buy anything called people food that is modeled after dog food. It seems like there's all kinds of problems with it. It seems like a business idea that is just fraught with peril and fraught with stupidity all over it, but it is my idea, which is why I'm perfectly comfortable admitting that it is a stupid, stupid business idea. But again, the only way that I can ever know that is to go out there and actually identify my market, identify the idea, get really good at explaining it. So just to summarize, number one, get really good at explaining that idea, going out and talking to people to see if they want it, and then narrowing that group down to the types of people who will actually want that product. And then you begin to learn more and more about the product. You begin to learn how to evolve it and how to make it into something that they want. Now, I'm going to throw out another piece of advice here before we wrap it up. And this is a really important one. We talk a lot about failure. We talk a lot about this concern about, well, what if it doesn't work? If you use this process, it can't not work. All right? It can't fail, and here's why. It can't fail because you'll keep changing it until it does succeed. Right? So People Food, as you have this conversation with people about People Food, you may uncover that this whole product is just not even viable. Nobody in the world wants this thing, which is what I think would happen, but again, I don't know. But what is going to happen in that process is that you're going to identify other areas where people need help and other types of products that they need. Because these people that you talk to are going to start to say things like, well, no, that's stupid, but what about this? No, that idea doesn't address my issue X. And then you begin to talk to them about, well, what would address issue X? And again, I tried to make this a simple example that would be really easy to understand, but understand that it's not as simple as this conversation that we just had here in 20 or 25 minutes. It is it's a series of conversations with people that allow you to uncover what it is that they actually want. And if you just keep changing it until you get it right, there's no such thing as failure. Now, if you're ready to identify a business idea, identify a product or service that people want, and actually find those people who want that thing, well, that's what I created Kickstart for. I know that you may not be ready to spend thousands of dollars on coaching or hundreds of dollars on online training or those $2,000 training packages. You just might not be ready for that. Maybe you don't even have the money. I understand, and that's why I created Kickstart. It's under $100, and you can get more information about it at howtoquitworking.com/Kickstart. If you want to make big progress in your business, but you don't want to spend big money, then Kickstart is for you. Head on over to howtoquitworking.com/Kickstart, and I will be back in a couple of days with another episode of the How to Quit Working Show.
Thanks for joining us on the How to Quit Working Show. Tune in next time when we'll talk to another amazing person just like you who is now living the ultimate life of freedom and doing it on their terms. If you want to learn how to quit working and get these episodes delivered directly to you, visit howtoquitworkingshow.com.